I don't have a cut thing. I don't know if that's a real thing in business, in the music business.
Hey.
And go. We're here in the studio.
Live in the cut.
Live. We're here. The very first Lionheart podcast.
Yes, sir.
Flint, Michigan, baby. Woo! We made it. We got Jules in the back here. Olivia Gold holding it down. We got Jeremiah the Symphony,
The legend,
producing our episode today. And our new friend Jeff, who thwarted our first take at this podcast. He thwarted it. Tay, you know, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling the vibe. Are you feeling the vibe?
I'm feeling it. I'm getting into it.
Is anything? I tried to set up a vibe for you today, even though I've known you forever. Like I still need to set up a vibe for this man. So
I'm liking this, the mic and the headphones. We got a candle here.
Yeah, you go ahead and talk nice and close in that mic so we can hear those buttery vocals.
All right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We got a little candle lit here because we're gonna have a nice conversation.
Okay.
Now, I've known you since you were young, and you've known me since I was younger. We're going on 11 years, but I'm like, if I'm gonna interview this guy, I need to give him a proper introduction. A proper introduction. Now listen, my friends who are on this video, on this podcast with us, this man, his lyricism is as catchy as it is powerful. Detroit-based, but nationally known. He encompasses what feels like a bullseye in the genre of hip-hop.
Come on.
With deep roots in his community and his family, he's entertained audiences across 5 states in the last year.
Amen.
With hits like Fire in Me, All I Ever Did, Count It. Some would consider him a rising star, but the people closest to him have always known him to be just that. Ladies and gentlemen, Tay Sosa.
Man.
From Detroit, Michigan.
Thank you. I'm feeling our hype crew back here. Happy to be on the podcast and let y'all know a little bit about myself.
Hey, this that peaceful poetry. People dying by jealousy. Circle tight as a glove, but somehow ain't no touching me. You gotta fight for what you love, it wasn't up to me. The city beautiful and ugly. Yeah. Stay in your lane or stay out
Yes.
to make it dangerous.
Tay,
Celebrate
I'm curious. So being a teacher in Detroit, one of the things that I picked up on was that to feel like you fit in the community, you can let me know if this is right or wrong. You have to be able to have some type of talent. Like you need to be able to sing or dance or
Facts.
rap or hoop.
Right.
And if you don't fit into one of those things, I don't know if there's a spot for you.
Right.
Did you always know that you were so good with words? Like, did you know that that's where you were going to fit?
Kinda. Yeah, my dad is a real good rapper. He had like some deal potentials back in his day. My mom is a good poet. So it was kind of already flowing through. I just got into it in like the 4th, 5th grade, that type of age range.
Can you remember the first rap that you wrote that you were so proud of? Do you remember it?
A little bit.
You're like, man,
not really.
I'm a beast. I'm a 4th grade beast.
Right.
Watch out, ladies.
It's actually floating around on YouTube somewhere. My very first rap.
It's floating around.
Yeah.
Can we pull that up?
That would be nice.
I don't think we're at that level yet. Our production crew, we've got one person here.
Yeah. It was horrible though. Looking back on it.
But you remember the feeling? Was it a class assignment? Did you write it at home?
I wrote it at home. My uncle was kind of pushing starting a YouTube and putting music on YouTube and all of that. So I wrote it with my brother Keon, and we got in front of the window in Highland Park and just recorded it and posted it on YouTube.
What do you mean when you say you got in front of the window?
We just stood in front of the window. Like, no backdrop.
Okay.
No stage or anything.
Did you have, the world kind of knows you as Tae Sosa right now. Did you have a rap name early on in life?
No, it was just Tay.
It was just Tay.
It was just Tay. But I know like 10 different Tays, so.
Has that become an issue at all as you've tried to release music?
It has. It's a fake Mexican Tae Sosa floating around out here.
Man, he could have been here first, but he's definitely
right.
the fakest.
Right.
So you were in fourth grade when you discovered for yourself. I think I'm pretty good with words.
Yeah.
And when you were like around that phase of your life, who were like in your family, who was someone that was super supportive that maybe saw that as well, that potential inside of you?
Man, when I was younger, me, Keon, my mom and my dad, we always used to make songs together like as a family, and that used to be super fun. My dad built like a little studio setup. My uncle come over, make some music. It was just like we felt like we was legit, even though it's horrible looking back at it. But we felt like we was legit at the time. My mom, she wrote a book called Lefty about a kid with 2 left feet. And that was just showing like her poetry and her kind of play on words and that type of stuff. My dad was a good rapper. So them, and then later down in my life, my TT Jazz, well, actually, he was around back then too. My TT Jazz got a boyfriend named Melvin. That's my family. Shout out to them. And Melvin was somebody who was super invested in my music too. Like he was a person that was in my corner cheering me on, my TT Jazz and all of them. So my family was supportive of my music.
When you guys would make music together, I'm trying to envision what it's like writing a song with your family. Is that something like, would your dad put together the beat and then you would all just kind of go to different corners of the room and write? Or like, how would a song with your family who you enjoyed writing with in elementary school, how does that happen?
Well, I was still young, so of course their ideas was like way better than mine. And we kind of just rolled with whatever they had. But when I did get a chance to write, that felt super special. Getting to put on a song with my mama and my dad. And I already look at them like they super good at writing. So it wasn't just like that kind of cheesy feeling. It felt legit, yeah.
Yeah. And do you remember the first time that you performed live as a kid and you got a response from the audience? I just feel like a live audience, live person response to your music that maybe isn't your family can sometimes be a memory that a lot of people have. Like, oh, the first time someone responded to my music and it wasn't my mom.
I don't remember the very first performance. My family is that type of family though. Like when everybody is there at the house, a barbecue or anything, they calling me up. They want me to rap in front of.
They're just like, come rap.
Yes, in front of all the old people and all my cousins and everything. So they definitely that type of family. I remember performing at Cobo Hall when I was younger. That was like a big staple. That's one of my first memories as a performer.
That's one of my favorite memories too, because I was your music teacher at the time.
Right, and you was there.
And I was there. It was
fun.
me, tall white dude with a bunch of young black
people,
elementary kids,
right,
making some hip hop music on the stage in front of a bunch of teachers. That's a core memory for me as well.
Yeah, me too.
I think for me, it was a core memory because I never would have anticipated that I would have been not only in that place, but in that place of life as well, creating something alongside my students and just being up there. Probably one of the moments I felt the most proud as well.
I'm the poet. Yeah, yeah. This that peaceful poetry. I'm the poet.
People might ask you, what are your songs like? What do you write about? What do you like to write about? And you wanted to stay away from a certain type of answer, and then you ended up landing on something that felt like it was true to your writing style and honorable to your upbringing, to your family, to your community.
Right. It was a long time, like my whole life, I was going through that tension of I don't know what I rap about. I wouldn't be able to give a right response. Like, oh, I rap about Jesus, or I rap about this. You know how people, like, you can tell this is a Christian hip hop rapper. They rap about this, drugs and all of this. Like, it wasn't that for me. And I finally figured out, I was telling you, I rap about pain and purpose. And that was a big, like, realization, I think, at one of the times where I was in that creative mindset like we was talking about. I'm like, yeah, I rap about pain and purpose. I don't rap about this or one specific thing. I rap about what's going on. I rap about the pain that I went through, and I rap about where I'm trying to get to. So every song is not going to be everybody's favorite song, but it's my pain and my purpose, and that's my art. So I was happy when I came to that.
Keep it on him, he ain't leaving the earth. These people ask why they wasn't seeing it first. They put us in the ground like a seed in the dirt, yeah. If my brother shine, we all shine through. Listen for the money.
What if some of the other answers that you've given before you arrived at that? Because when I think about you, I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. It's so true to who you are. Pain and purpose. You're talking about life experiences, and then you also talk about how that cultivates something inside of you. I've helped a little bit when you're making music or posting videos, and there's a word that I've always hesitated with, and I know that you've always hesitated with it too, because you don't want your music to be defined by that. Do you know what the word is?
No.
I feel like you're gonna be like, oh, yep, that's it, right when I say it.
What is it?
It's the struggle.
Right.
You don't want to be defined, like you don't want to be a rapper that raps about the struggle.
Right.
Why does that bring up so much tension for you? Because I feel it as well, but I can't really put it to words like you might be able to. Why do you want to stay away from being a rapper who raps about the struggle, just like you want to not be characterized as like, okay, well, this is a rapper that he just talks about Jesus, or he, that you've only fit into a certain genre of music?
I think,
what is it about that?
I definitely had to struggle in my life, so that's a part of my pain. So it's going to be in there. It's going to be in the lines if you can read it, and that's part of who I am and how I was formed. But just being categorized as, oh, this is a struggle rapper, or I got way more to offer inside of my lyrics than just.
Is that a thing?
Struggling.
Is there such thing as struggle rappers?
I don't know if people call it struggle rappers, but
what is it called?
I don't know. It's definitely rappers though that only talk about struggling. So yeah, struggle rappers.
Struggle rappers.
That works.
We're
That
calling
works.
them out here on the Lionheart podcast. All of you struggle rappers out there.
And usually those people never really talk about trying to get out. Even if you didn't make it out, trying to get out, they don't talk about the days where you do feel like you know yourself, or you do feel like you have goals and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
It's the right blend. Every good rapper, or great rapper, or great artist, or any type of person who's expressing themselves and doing what they love, the people who are great at it have pain and have purpose. Like some type of story. Nobody goes on America's Got Talent and just only tell good things about their life and then get a golden buzzer. It got to be some type of pain that go along with the purpose of them being there. So I feel like that's what separates the struggle rapper, or the people who living in the ditches, versus the people who has the pain and the purpose.
I love that. It feels it honestly feels like a perfectly balanced song.
Yeah. It's like the yin and the yang.
Yeah, the perfect push and pull for your music is combining the pain and the purpose. I love that because I know that we've talked for a while of maybe how to answer that question.
Right.
What do we write about? Because even with Lionheart, people are like, "What do you talk about?" Like self-worth and value and how people see each other and identity. And I'm like, okay, I'm using too many words. So I might have to schedule a consulting session with you to try and figure out what I do.
It took me my whole life, so.
All right, good. Well, I'm like 10 years older than you, so I feel like I should have it figured out. Tay's got pain and purpose. How do you feel when people walk up to you or during a performance, you look out in the audience and you see people saying your lyrics with you? What is that feeling like?
That's crazy. It's like 2 seconds of fame. It's like your little slither right there. I'll take 2 more seconds. I'll take all the 2 seconds I can get. But for real, when people, it's like a ultimate type of respect, and that people just appreciate what you got going on. It make you feel good.
Do you have a favorite performance that comes to mind? Like, gosh, everything just fit with this performance. It was my favorite song to do. The crowd was so into it. The atmosphere felt right. Do you have a moment that comes to mind where you're just like, this was perfect?
I really enjoy when we got to visit the Juvenile. That was my favorite show. Not just because of like the reaction and everything, because they was, they had to leave and all of that. But I just felt like those are the people that needed it the most. Those are the people that came from where I come from, so they understand what I'm saying, and they was a little less fortunate probably than their peers. They in the juvenile system, and so me to kind of get in the door and lay the pain on the table, and then like sprinkle a little bit of purpose in there, I felt like it hit home for a lot of the juvenile kids.
I was actually just thinking about that, and I'm excited to be able to go back to the same place. But that was the memory for me when I had written down here, ask Tay about what it's like when people are saying your lyrics as you're rapping them.
Right.
That was actually the memory in my head, because I remember being at the juvenile center that you're referencing, and I remember the group of students that were there, and you did a private concert for them. There were only 8 of them.
Yeah.
And we're in just a room with incandescent lighting. There was no fog machine.
Right.
There were no huge speakers or a mosh pit, and something about that performance just really felt right.
Yeah, it was special. They one of the officers or whatever, she was telling me that they get to listen on Saturdays. They get to listen to like 1 or 2 songs on YouTube, and they chose my songs, and some of the kids was knowing the lyrics, but they didn't get to hear some of the songs that I did. So I got to go back and give them that performance.
I remember this was an interesting detail of the day. I don't know if you remember this, but those specific students that were part of that small private concert that you did, they were like 8 young men. And I remember talking to the director, and she said, these students, they're actually not here because of infractions. Do you remember this?
Right.
They're just there because they didn't have anyone to go to. Like, there wasn't any family that wanted to take them or a place for them to go, and so they were just there. And I remember seeing some of the boys knowing every single one of the lyrics to your songs, and I was like, gosh, what a special moment to be part of.
Yeah, it was crazy. I can't wait to go back. January 2nd, right?
gonna go back in early January. Yeah, when I look at you as an artist, I kind of imagine people who are maybe stuck in one of those ditches. So people who have experienced so much pain and they are having a hard time understanding that there's purpose could find that in your music. And people maybe that are stuck in the purpose ditch maybe haven't been able to embrace or learn from the moments of pain that they've experienced in their life. For you, what's the dream? What would you love to see happen for yourself?
I'm not 100% sure of my dreams yet. I just know I want to be in a position where I can take care of people, where I could be able to help out my people and stuff and change, lifestyles or situations, or be able to take a little bit of the pain off of them. That would be nice.
There you go. I just asked, what's the dream? And you said, I don't know if I have the dream.
I don't.
Do we have to have the dream figured out?
I don't.
We're getting lots of head nods in the room saying no.
That's part of the journey.
Gosh.
I mean, when do the dreams stop? When I die? Or how do I know when I hit the dream? Or
I don't know. I feel so inundated with that question so often. Okay,
Right.
So what do you feel like this is going to be in 5 years? Or like, what would you really like to be doing? Just like the question I asked you, what's the dream? Because I think I asked that question because I assume that everybody has their dream figured out except for me. So I'm just curious if Tay Sosa has his dream figured out.
No, I don't. I know which direction I want to go in, but I don't know what's the dream.
Man, that's good. I'm just hoping to embrace the pain and purpose.
Right.
And I'm hoping that's going to take me into a healthy direction. Yeah. You talk a lot about your city, your family, your experiences as you grow. What would you like to see happen for your family or your city as you grow as a musical artist, just kind of to bring things home here?
I want to see, like I was saying, I want to be able to change certain situations, help out more, maybe create some opportunities for some of my family members to see some purpose for their life, create some job opportunities, or start to make them feel like they can get up and do something. Some of them probably feel like how the people in the juvenile felt, like there's no purpose and there's only pain, and they stagnant, sitting in the same place. But me just moving around and being to these few states, I see a lot of people doing, I see first class in Delta. I see people living life. And if they could experience some of that, that would be a dream for me.
You want to see your community get called up to the diamond medallions.
Right.
In the airport. Before leaving our conversation, you have a song that hasn't come out yet. It's called Artistry. It's probably my favorite Tae Sosa song.
Really?
Yeah, there's this vocalist at the end.
I wonder who he is.
But I am really excited about it. I'm excited for people to hear it. When you think about this, when you think about the song, what's your favorite part of that song? What part of that song do you feel the most proud of?
I remember writing the first verse. That Artistry was crazy because I felt like the lyrics was coming to me as I was writing it. It didn't feel forced. I didn't have to sit down and force myself to spit some lyrics out. That actually felt like, I remember actually looking in the air because I actually felt like the lyrics was coming out. This one for the kids that's empty-handed, or from treacherous places that they couldn't imagine. I feel like those was coming from me, and that's that beginning and that opening session of me just starting to write, that felt special.
That first line where you say, this one's for the kids that's empty-handed. When you rap that, do you have a picture in your head of that kid?
No, not a kid, but more so.
Is it an idea?
More so my neighborhood. I actually have myself in my own head. Like me and my friends and, you know, our neighborhood, calendar and church and that kind of area when we was younger.
So when you say this one's for the kid that's empty-handed, is that for you kind of like just a flush of memories?
Yeah.
Of being a kid?
Right. Not just my memories, too.
Not just your memories.
Not just my memories. It was all of our memories. Some of my friends' memories. You know, like the car was salvaged when I was talking about dad not being around. I got friends, of course, that, you know, dad not around. And even if you got a stepdad in your life, it's, you know, in your head, it's still not your actual father. So it can leave a sour taste. So I was just thinking about different people's situation and kind of making it about all of us.
Perfect, man.
Hey, I'm at the corner of pain. I'm at the corner of purpose. I'm looking out for
food with me, put on for my city. You hear it in all of my verses.
Absolutely, man. Well, let's we'll keep putting on for the group, for the family, for the city. It's been a pleasure spending time with you today. I
enjoyed it.
Thanks for being part of the vibe with us.
Go download that. That's Artistry, people.
Yeah. Look. This one for the kids that's empty-handed, or from treacherous places that you couldn't imagine, where the supernatural parents find a way to manage, and the houses they was hammered with poverty damage. Life gets scrambled like all the splatters that land on